guys. Just gonna try to go over a few things tonight. I spotted a few trades today from one of my bots that I've been experimenting with this for a while, and I want to actually test it out on a few new stocks. Sometimes you'll get a strategy that actually works and does really well, but it doesn't do well all the time. And mostly I've found that it is the stock itself that's actually causing the issue. So if you look right here, this is one of my bots that I use to test different strategies. And you can see right here, this one that I call the 3D long, it's actually throwing a really nice trade on GameStop, doing a return of about 2.18%. That's a really nice trade on that. You have this other one called Jet that seems to be conflicted by whatever GameStop is doing right here. That down here, Jet kind of does something. This 50x old thing kind of is conflicted, and here's 3D long trying to throw something else, and so you got a lot of issues with that. And so what I want to do, I actually found these three stocks, and the Jet and this thing I was calling the 50p possibles on the 5-minute chart. So with these three stocks on the 5-minute, I had notated this morning that there might be a possible that these stocks could actually be doing something on those. So what I'm going to do is backtrack to the 1st of August. And I'm just going to look for trades that those might have done. So here you go on Jet, an opening morning kicker right there. I never take trades on the first 5-minute candle or the first 1-minute candle, whichever one I'm actually working. So I wouldn't be able to take this trade on the 5-minute until it got up here and then opened. This is a solid pullback on this one of 1.9%. Not sure I'd actually want to be in that stock doing that, despite the fact that it does go up to do a 3% move. But if this was some kind of pattern, it might be something that I could consider. But let's go ahead and bump to the next day. Remember, we're working with the 50p and the Jet. So I'm going to go ahead and put this up to 8:30. It is 8:30 my time, but most of the time you can do. Market opens at 9:30 Eastern time. So here's another one, and that's not really one we want to look at. That's a 3D short. So here's Jet in the afternoon, throwing kind of a conflicted trade right here. Not really something we'd be interested in. Here's another one, an opening morning right there, and then a strong pullback. And let's see what kind of move it actually ends up getting. Another 2.30 or 2.75% move, depending on where you go there. So that's not too bad. Another morning trade. You see that? It's right there. It's another nice morning trade after a solid pullback. Kind of resembles the same thing we got the other time. This is not great. You got, this, whatever's trading is happening right here. This is not good trading, or not a stock that I would want to trade. Partly these big giant moves. You can see this one opens up and does huge 4.17% move. These candles are massive. There ain't no way you'd want to be in on this stock trading that much of a move in 5 minutes. Obviously, see, Jet actually predicts it right here. So if you wanted to say it, a lot of times I'll allow a trade to take after the first one. But if you looked at this, let's just compare this to the last couple of days where we've seen moves happen. Um, let's make a few notes here. So we've got a entry candle, and then we can't trade the first 1 minute. However, if we were to abolish that rule for the sake of the jet and consider it a morning trade, you would, this one, you take the next candle, that would have been a really great move. However, if you were to say you can't take the first candle of the day, which is something that a rule I kind of like to stick by, so you can't take the first candle. So this is the opening. I can't take the first one. And then just like the other ones, I have to wait for the massive pullback before I actually get in. So the idea of this stock would be when it throws an entry, you wait for the massive pullback and then get in and make the run of something that would generate about a 2.5% move. And if you see right there, the candle is 2.30 and going all the way up to 3.48. So the reason why I wouldn't take this one is because it's the first one. So a lot of times this first candle acts, you can't really read this as a part of your strategy. So the next one is the pullback, and then this one is, so you just pretend like this first candle doesn't exist. This one, massive pullback, and then it goes up. So now let's backtrack here to Wednesday. Same thing here. You have Wednesday, you have the push up. You can't get in yet. It closes. Now here's the entry point. Now if we were going to work this as a strategy, we would have to wait until the next candle did a pullback. So right here, it does this huge pullback, comes up, closes. Now I can actually hop in. If I hopped in on this one, it's still a pullback of about 0.68%. But that pullback right there is a lot better than the other one, and we'll get a run up of 2.40%. A very nice move right there. Now let's go ahead and check the second. I didn't see one happen here. This one happens way too early. Let's go back to the first. Okay, here we go. So Jet throws an entry right here. We can't get on the first one, but we can use it as an entry signal. So here it is. It throws it. Huge pullback right here. Right after that pullback, and this candle is about to close on this 5-minute one, that's when we can hop in. So we hop in. You got a pullback of about 0.43% and a run up of almost 4% right there. So just thinking through this, Jet has an up, a pullback, and then you can get in on the next candle. So 2 candles later, you could hop in. And again, this is working on a 5-minute chart. So now we've kind of, I guess you could say we've done a hypothesis, so to speak, of a strategy and how it possibly could work. So now what we're going to do is bounce around a little bit to some other times on this particular strategy on this same stock and see if we can't see it repeat what's taking place. Remember, the 50p was the one that I was going to test as well. I really wanted to test this one on this stock too. But for now, we're actually going to hold on working with the Jet one. I'd really like to see what that one actually pans out and does. So whereas nothing on that one. So here's another one. This one probably would have hurt pretty bad. Partly, well, I say that, but if you look at it, so you have this candle here, okay? So you can't get in on this one. And then according to the strategy, the hypothesis of the strategy we did, there was no way we could get in on this candle right here. Okay, this is technically supposed to be a pullback candle, which it actually isn't, which violates the strategy. But we wouldn't be able to get in on this candle. But we would be able to get in on this one right here. And I know this one looks awfully red, which is obvious thing. But one thing to note about this candle is look at this really long run up wick right here. This wick is 6.2%. a total of $2.72 move happens right here on this push. Now, I don't know about you, but that is a really nice push up when it shoots up there. And that's, again, Jet calling a very nice trade right here. Obviously can't take this one, although had I have, it would have gone fine. But you don't take the first next candle, you take the next one, which got a very nice move on that one. GameStop is a really erratic stock, so finding some kind of consistency would be an interesting, thing to say the least. We might be able to pull something off. I love that these are throwing first thing in the morning too. That can be, a real quick way to kick the day off to have a good day like that. So here's another day, nothing on that one. And I'm just bumping through looking at the first thing in the morning on what this stock actually did. So here's another one, and this one's actually in reverse. So we have to think about this a little bit different. So what we're going to see on the Jet on this one would be, instead of a pullback down, we would see a push up. And you can see right off the bat, this first candle you can't trade, and this is actually the push up, and it continues going up the other direction, or the wrong way after that. This would be the candle that you would actually take. So this is going the wrong way on this one almost immediately. So a bad trade thrown on this one. You could say that both of these are conflicting, which they definitely are. But let's go ahead and bump over here to the second one, because I think it's interesting that it threw another one after these two conflicting ones. Throwing another one on this. So here is your push down. Now remember, we can't get in on the first push. So this is the first push down. And this is your pullback. So this is the strong pullback that we actually wait for. When this candle closes, now we can sell short right here. So just looking at how far it went up after that, almost 0.67, that would have been a tough pullback on that, waiting for that to actually pan out, although you could have held for a little bit. But it goes up to there, finally comes back down for a 1.80% move, pulls up a little bit and holds, still holding in at the buy-in point, and goes all the way down for a 4.83% move. So that's a pretty good size move. And of course, it kind of did the same thing that we calculated, or we hypothesized that the Jet actually would do. Has a strong pullback after it that's really tough. Now, one of the things to note here, I think, is kind of interesting is, I think we're underestimating the pullback on this being almost 1.5%, which is as much as some of my other strategies actually can produce. So even with this Jet going in reverse, you almost can count on this reversal going the other way. You actually could trade the Jet in reverse, knowing that the pullback would happen on the next one. Now, I really don't care much for those, because in this situation, we're using the pullback as confirmation of the actual move down. And this is a much nicer move going down. So look right here on this one. This one shows the pullback as confirmation. And when you look at this, you wait. That's another one, and it holds, and then another one, and another one, and another one. These are all strong pullbacks on this before it actually goes down. And if you thought about it, taking this, you can't take this one, but you could take the reversal on this, which is a 3% pullback on this. So you think about it now. What I'm talking about, I'm going to go back again. What I'm talking about is actually trading the opposite direction of what the Jet throws. So it seems like when this Jet throws an entry point, obviously you can't take the first candle, but when it throws an entry point going down, you will always see, or what it looks like, you will see a pullback of some kind, usually a strong pullback of almost 2%. So this is a really nice pullback on this. And if you look at this one, it does the same thing. It throws it before you get strong pullback the other direction. So in both cases, you could easily count on a 1% move with no problem. That one going as much as 3, and this one, the pullback up 1.5%. So both of them have really nice bounce back plays on there, and you can see the jet doesn't throw anymore except for just mainly in the morning. Now here's another one right here. Now I think this one is a little bit interesting. So you always get that one that's going to violate everything that you worked for. So here you go. This one is the push down. Now, let's say you were trading or playing that pullback move. Well, this is the push down. Well, it jumps down, literally gapping down to the next candle before gapping down again on this other one. So, it's going down. You can't get in. I mean, in theory, if you were trading the pullback, you would want to hop in after, right after this candle, you would hop in for some kind of pullback. Which I'll just measure that little wick. That wick only got like 0.34%. If this thing gaps down to here, you certainly wouldn't want to get in for a pullback going the other way. Now I will take a measurement on this. It's not, compared to the moves it's doing, this is only about a 1% move down, so it's not really that far to actually consider. And if you had have just taken the trade, or have just taken that trade, you can see it moved up to 1.5%. So even going to here, you would have had to survive all of this, obviously, but you would have gotten a nice jump. Now, obviously, you could think, well, if it gaps down, don't get in. It gaps down again, don't get in. You might be able to play this step in volume and be like, okay, now it's going to return. Think that you might get in down here and make the full move. All in all, I think the jet failed on this particular move. Now, this is a great example right here, probably. So this one goes down. Now, remember, down is up with the jet. So there's two different trades here. Down is up. So when this one throws it down, the stock is actually going to go up instead, or at least pull back, just like this one did, pulled back. So here we go. It's down. You click on that. We'll check that one. So the wick went up 0.51. Barely any pull go down whatsoever, and now it begins to pull back. Now hanging on to this one would have been really nice, going all the way up to a 4% move on that stock, going all the way the other direction. And you can see this would have been a little bit scary if you were trading the reversal, because you go here, and then all of a sudden you get a huge push in another jet throwing, which this would have been scary, thinking that it's actually going to do a pullback. But I say that, and then with this, you would have definitely rode this one out at least to that next candle, and that's a 1% move, and let it push all the way up to here. You would have easily got out at a 1.5% move. So the jet actually threw a nice trade on that one if you were trading it in reverse, which I know is odd. We can adjust that to actually have the arrows in the right direction if we wanted to. So here's another one. Here's the jet throwing a trade right here. It's supposed to go up, right? We're looking for up. You take the next candle, you buy right there, boom. It opens up at the next one. It's got a little bit. It goes that way, but then here we go the other direction, pulling all the way down to almost, well, it looks like we're 1.20% down here. Didn't quite get the 1.30 we like, but there it is. So you would have got a full 1% move out of that one. Here's another one hitting, and there's the jet throwing, and now you're shorting it right afterwards. It goes up, very small push up before ticking back and gets its full 1.30 actually right there. So anyway, nice trades with the jet right there too. Now, we're seeing this is an afternoon trade right here, and it's actually working, going the right way. But I would say, our current goal or our current uh, view has been on the early morning. This is the latest one I've seen so far at 10:45. Throw in that particular trade. So we're going to look at a couple more days here. Now here you go again. The jet throwing a successful push, and you buying it on the next. So boom, you sell short as soon as it opens. You got a little push up about 50.56%, and then it pulls back, getting, easily crushing the 1.30% move all the way down to 2.20. So very nice pullback on that. That would have been a very nice trade there. And look at right here again, the jet throwing one, boom, it grabs it and then does another 1.30. Now here's the part that scares me a little bit. Now obviously this would have been a really nice trade, but here's the jet throwing a trade and then not getting a pullback on this, popping up, and then you definitely would not have wanted to have been short on this run right here, throwing an 11% move going up. Now what I like about that is that the jet actually called the trade. The jet actually calls it and says this is going to go this direction. And if you look at it, the jet throws here, it's a pullback, and then it does its little green. And then the jet goes here, it's a pullback, and then it does some green with the jet. So when this green throws here, like if you look at it, this one goes all the way down and stops, and then you have green, and then it goes all the way back, stops, there's your green, and then you have an entry, which means it's going to pull back again. It pulls back, now you have another entry. If you shorted this right here, especially if you shorted it at a 50%, 0.50% move the other direction, put a stop loss in at 0.50%, it would have actually kicked you out of that trade, which kicking you out and going to the next one, you might have could have reversed your position and take the jet going the other direction. So anyway, again, if we look at this is after 10:30 or after 10 o'clock. The jet for that other trade was better done in the morning, so it's possible that's a thing as well. Okay, so 2 more days here. Early morning, and here we go again. The jet throwing a nice trade here, and you get a full run back of 2.95%. A gorgeous trade that thing's throwing. And what's weird is because when you see this, you want to short. So I actually could go into the program and move these jet candles to the top to throw, or a different type of trade thrown right after the jet candle, to kind of help you work with that. So anyway, it's funny to see the 50p actually throw in the opposite direction on these. Also good to see the 50p actually throwing a nice down trade here, and the jet kind of encouraging that as it goes through. Okay, one more day and then we're done for tonight. This one right here, the jet actually throwing a legitimate trade, I say, but it's throwing it down and then trying to do a pullback, but actually not able to complete it. Would have ended up kicking you out. But like I said, when it goes down and kicks you out, you actually could just reverse the trade on these, because they are worth holding, and it going down to make a 3.81% move. So anyway, the jet is definitely a comparable trade, and it should be something to be respected. We definitely need to dig into that more and develop this trade and take that one live. I think that's going to be a really good opening for GameStop, and I would like to do reviews on Bed Bath & Beyond and AMC as well. All right, well, I'm going to get on out of here for tonight. I'll see you guys first thing in the morning for live trading. You guys have a good night.